welcome to Northern Ireland and the Cookstown 100. It's the opening national road race of the Irish season as the countdown to the Northwest 200 and the Isle of Man TT gets closer. Look at the start that Todd's got, Stevie. He's off the line like a rocket. Oh, look at that. Oh, and he's made it through.
Extremely brave. Oh, Dean Harris out on the curve.
Side by side. Away we go.
How close do you like it?
Another victory for Michael Dunlop.
What a way to spend your week here in Northern Ireland.
The Cookstown 100 is Ireland's oldest and therefore longest running motorcycle road race. In fact, they've been racing here for over 100 years. It's the first of 9 meetings which are covered by the King of the Road series, which takes in events across the length and breadth of the British Isles, as well as Imatra in Finland, and closing at the end of the year in the Far East at the Macau Grand Prix, making it a truly international competition run purely on road street circuits. Michael Dunlop is one of the biggest names in motorcycle racing and last year enjoyed one of the best campaigns of his career, the highlight becoming the most successful rider at the Isle of Man TT. He arrived in Cookstown having raced the Le Mans 24-hour race where he suffered a big crash.
I got up straight away and he shut us up straight away. Obviously I'm black and blue just from the impact, but no broken bones thankfully, so it was a good job. And I just get some miles in our stuff. I was only home from Open last night. We drove the whole way through the night to get back to here, so home, change wheels and back, so hopefully get a run around today and see what happens. You know, last year obviously with the way things went, you know, it took a lot of weight off my shoulders. TTU obviously was the main objective. I just a bit disappointed with the Northwest, obviously picking up an injury here last year before the Northwest hindered me, but I'm looking forward to getting to the Northwest and having a real good go at it. The bikes seem to be looking well. We're a bit of a work to do the sort of right. We've been sort of left high and dry a little bit and we're trying to work hard to get it done, but hopefully we get out in it very shortly and hopefully Northwest will put a show on and then leads us then back to TT.
One of his rivals today will be Michael Sweeney, a former National Road Racer of the Year.
It always get a buzz when you're coming to a road race, you know what I mean? It's a lot different than short circuit stuff, so we do a good bit of testing at the start of the year out in Spain and stuff like that, and it's just kind of, yeah, we go out here, ride a bike, but then once you're getting built up and getting ready to come here, it's a different story. Yeah, plenty of success here, and we've also had a bit of bad luck here as well, so hopefully this weekend we might get a little bit more success, and that's what we're planning to do, and if it happens, it happens. It's short around here and you haven't a whole lot of time. It's just really just to get a clean first lap and just try to get the head down, and depends what kind of group you're in or who you're with, and then we obviously with Michael here this weekend as well, and McGee is back as well, and there's a lot of other lads here as well, so I don't know if we're going to be able to hold on to him, but sure, we'll try our best.
And making his debut at the Cookstown 100 is Manx Grand Prix winner Joe Yeardsley.
Riding for a Northern Ireland-based team has brought me here this year. I've wanted to come here before, but unfortunately with the travel from the Isle of Man is not easy, with Sundays and Wednesdays being the only boats and work commitments. So with the bikes all being here now, it's made me able to come here and do it, and I feel very grateful to be able to do that. I'm happy just to get back in one piece, to be honest, and at the Northwest next week in the TT. It'd be nice if we can get a podium, but at the end of the day we'll just have to do our best, and that's all we can do. Up until last weekend I'd never really raced a superbike, well I've never rode a superstock bike before, so it's the extra 100 horsepower, getting used to it. I've got a lot of time under my belt over the next few years to focus on that. I'm under no pressure, so I can just focus on the smaller classes and let the bigger bike come to me with a bit more time.
Derek McGee last raced at Cookstown in 2019, but he's back this year. The 38-year-old's a multiple Irish champion.
6 years since I was at this track, so just get familiar again, and even within the 6 years I haven't done much riding, but yeah, I feel pretty okay already, so yeah, just missed the Irish road racing scene, and yeah, it's what I started off my racing career on, so just the whole atmosphere around Cookstown, it's an event I always liked as well, so yeah, can't wait to get into some racing now tomorrow.
Before we continue, let's check out this year's King of the Road schedule, which takes in all manner of circuits across the globe. It's 20 races held during the course of 7 months. And it all starts here, at the Cookstown 100. It's jumps and sharp 90-degree corners before heading to the Causeway Coast for the International Northwest 200 in early May. It's on to the shallow hills of County Armagh and the Tandragee 100 at the end of June. Plenty of action in July, 4 events across 4 countries. It all kicks off with the Imatra Road Races in Finland, closely followed by the Southern 100 in the Isle of Man. Then it's off to Aberdare Park in Wales, a short, fast-paced circuit. And then the month ends with the Armoy Race of Legends in Northern Ireland. Then it's off to Scarborough and Oliver's Mount with the Gold Cup in September. And then it all concludes at the Macau Grand Prix in mid-November, where the King of the Road champion will be crowned. 2.1 miles in length, the Cookstown 100 is the shortest road race in Northern Ireland, and Michael Dunlop holds the outright lap record. The Orator Circuit has been in use now for some 20 years. There's a long start straight before the course winds its way into the countryside. There's a jump off Camber Bends before a crossroads to the checkered flag. First up, it's the Supersport race. After earlier rain, conditions are improving. Let's go down to the grid.
Darrell Tweed providing the pictures as he takes up his position on the grid for this Supersport race. A lot of questions are going to be answered, and alongside me, I'm delighted to say, we have former British 125cc champion, TT winner, Manx Grand Prix winner, Chris Palmer alongside me. And Chris, first of all, it's great to see Derek McGee back and in pole position, but what are we making about Michael Dunlop on this Ducati as we go down the grid?
Yeah, I mean, Michael's on the next generation Ducati. It'll be interesting to see if he sticks with that TT. For me personally, I know he loves his R6. So, you know what it's like. He could, I'm sure the R6 might be in the back of the van, but the Ducati seems to be a good job at the moment.
1 or 2 non-starters to talk about on this grid. Number 38, 361, and number 115 will not be taking part in this. It's McGee on the front row, though. Sweeney alongside him, a bit of a Cookstown specialist, and Dunlop in the front row. Good to see Brian McCormack at Cookstown as well, alongside Darrell Tweedy on row number 2. Just over 2 miles in distance. Who will get the best start? Here we go. McGee, good start. Oh, from row 2. That's Darrell Tweed on the Honda. Great start, but look who's in the lead. They come down to Gorton for the very first time. So Dunlop leads.
It's tight there into that corner there, yeah, but Dunlop got the drive with the big Ducati off the line there.
Next wave away. Chalk on bike 10. And Paul Cranston, number 93, the evergreen Paul Cranston. So out of McAdoo, looking back from Darrell Tweed. And that was McGee. So not the best of starts from McGee on the Yamaha.
No, McGee was shaking his head on the line, whether the bike was getting slightly too hot or whatever, and he just missed the start. He sort of got bogged down off the line.
So it's Dunlop from Sweeney as they go around Matney. So here we go.
Yep, there he goes. Yep, just bogged down off the line there.
Michael Sweeney providing the pictures, and then just coming up, Michael
The
Dunlop.
drive from the Ducati, absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Goes to the inside, sort of blocks the corner slightly.
So Michael Dunlop with a cracking start. Sweeney managing to stay with him. Look, it's a really crucial fast right-hand turn this. They come to the crossroads. Inch perfect from Dunlop, using every bit of the road. Sweeney's impressive though, he's staying with him, isn't he? And Sweeney's a tall lad as well.
He is, and it's interesting that the 2 R6s are staying with the Ducati on drive out of the corners as well. So the R6s that we're looking at are pretty good bikes though. I mean, obviously the McGee bike's an X10 Karting World Championship bike, so yeah, really good machinery.
So Sweeney not quite close enough to Dunlop, however, there's a few changes of position going on. Someone really slow on the brakes into Gorton there as Tweed goes through. There's Paul Cranston.
It just looked like someone on live.
They did. Paul Cranston now on 93 ahead of Chalk on bike 10. We're with Kevin Keys. Looks like he's taken a couple of positions going into Gorton. Oh, Franco Bourne. Oh, he's not quite made it. Easy to do, Chris.
Absolutely, yeah.
On board then with Michael Sweeney chasing down, and there, oh, it's McGee. McGee through into second place on the run down to McAdoo. So McGee now into second, Sweeney back into third, and a little wheelie out of Mackney from Michael Dunlop. So McGee then has got Dunlop in his sights. Can he close that gap, or can Michael Dunlop, who's been racing a very long time, McGee just coming back to racing today, one win already under his belt.
Yeah, Michael Sweeney just had a look over his shoulder there to make sure there's nobody in close quarter, so yeah, he's possibly might be going to settle for the podium position in third.
Yeah, you would maybe argue that the 1000cc's are more Michael Sweeney, although he's shown how good he is on other machinery, only due to he's so tall. But Michael Sweeney, a regular at Cookstown, overcome some horrendous injuries as well, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, and he's done well to come back from it, to be fair, but Derek McGee there is absolutely pushing Michael all the way on his comeback ride after a 6-year break.
So the end of lap 2, that gap between Dunlop and McGee was half a second. Fastest lap of the race so far, Derek McGee, a 1:26.5, just 2 tenths quicker than Dunlop. But Dunlop with a decision to make, whether he's going to use that Ducati, as you mentioned at the start of this race, Chris.
Yes, you know, it's funny, the Ducatis are not as powerful as you think, obviously, because it's the next generation bike. They're limited on horsepower and limited on weight and stuff like that, but they've got a lot of torque, so they punch out of the corners really well. I think a good R6 is possibly maybe past the top end, I'm not sure, but the Ducati seems to be weapon of choice for a lot of people these days.
And Michael Dunlop, of course, has pretty much been unbeatable in the Supersport class at the Isle of Man TT in recent years, so he has got a decision to make. He's just been testing, of course. He's come here from Alton Park. He did do a few laps of the circuit in Cheshire in England on that Ducati. Meanwhile, though, McGee, having to think he's not close enough for a move into Gorton.
No, and that's a fast R6, last year's World Championship bike. Yeah, I mean, mega bike.
So Michael Sweeney trying to stay with the two guys ahead. He's lost a little bit of time. He's now 3 seconds, just over 3 seconds down at the end of that previous lap.
We need to remember that not many of the guys went out in practice yesterday either, so this run out today is sort of, you know, the first run out the bad, really.
That was Michael Garn we saw on treble 2, just again overshooting. We won't, not the first time we've seen it at Gordon, and it won't be the last time we'll see it again today. Here we go with Sweeney coming up to this jump. Front goes light. Dunlop versus McGee.
Coming up to lap people now, and it's obviously Derek McGee will be trying to take an advantage from any situation, to be fair. And he's got through.
They've managed to do it, but again, then they've got another rider. It looks like Degnan, I think, that's just ahead of them on the road, but they should take these three along this far straight. A lot of bikes in front, and they have to weave their way through. And McGee, my goodness me, that was close hitting. Oh, this is crucial. This is crucial coming into Gorton. And Dunlop has not only got to defend from McGee, he's got to make his way through. That's Cranston, not Cranston, sorry, it's 92 that he's just gone past.
Noel Carroll, that is, yeah.
That is, yeah, Noel Carroll. Cranston's on 93, of course. But they've managed to get through. But what will that do in shaping the outcome of this race?
Yeah. I think McGee's still right behind him, so Michael's going to have to watch his back, certainly on the last lap.
Brian McCormack on treble 1. Great to see him at Cookstown. Dunlop with a good advantage. Well, it was 2 tenths of a second at the end of lap 7. 9 laps the distance, of course. Just only approaching the Mackney. There is Michael Sweeney, still holding third place, so he has managed to make his way past the other riders from the third wave. But looks as if Michael Dunlop is going to add another victory here at Cookstown 100. Ryan Farfar and Harry Davidson are the most successful riders around this track. They've won here more times than anyone else. But the last lap flag goes out for Michael Dunlop. That gap is 3 seconds.
I was just going to say, Michael looked like he was pushing on a little bit harder there to sort of break the toe, and I think he's just taken the fastest lap actually, looking at that.
125.09. So on the last lap, Michael Sweeney providing the pictures as we power down to Gorton again. Michael Dunlop continues to lead that advantage over Derek McGee. 3 seconds at the end of that lap. There's still a mile or so to go, and here he is into Mackney. But this will be 12 wins at the Cookstown 100 for Michael Dunlop, which will mean he has one more than his father Robert, and one more than his uncle Joey, and just 2 less than achieved by his brother William. It'll be 12 victories in all. So here he comes then. Just the right left-hand flip, and it will be victory for Michael Dunlop, his first of the day, and you can bank that there will be more to come. This is Michael Dunlop to take the checkered flag at the Cookstown 100. What a pride on the Ducati. Superb. 12 wins in total now. Only his 3rd Supersport victory. But yeah, Michael Dunlop is still the man to beat. So the scores on the doors, with Kevin Keys from the second wave finishing 5th overall behind Darrell Tweed, Michael Sweeney 3rd, Derek McGee in 2nd, and Michael Dunlop takes the win.
Yeah, it was good, yeah. A couple of boys have been out in races before, so they knew the condition of the road, and to be honest with you, it wasn't great. No, the condition was okay, jumping areas, but I made a setup for the wet, and we just stuck an intermediate, so we should have had a slick tyre on, but no, the bike was feeling good. It just sort of stayed in the move. It didn't want to do anything stupid, and then the last couple of laps were very good stuck in here, so we've done a couple of laps, and I wasn't sure who it was, Michael or Derek, I wasn't sure, so I just kept pushing on. It is, that's what it's all confidence, that's what it all is, you know what I mean, and I just, I haven't ridden this bike now since 3 months ago, so I was just to try and get better into it and try it on the road to see what it was like, so I'm really happy there, and this is good for the boys. Limited in gear, my fault, the gear didn't come in time, so we're quite limited, but the bike seems okay. A couple of changes now, I know I have to make to move forward, so we just have to keep at it.
Yeah, fantastic. I couldn't have asked for any more on the return, so yeah, got some nice bikes under me this year. Yeah, went out in the 600 and had a good battle there with Mickey, and just unfortunately we got caught with back marks at the end. I was hoping to have something for the last lap for him, but we'll get a shot again sometime.
Yeah, it sounded like you were nudging ever closer during the race.
Yeah, I had a spot where I was thinking for the last lap, and but yeah, you always know Mickey will come back, but yeah, shame.
McGee will be out again in the next race, the Moto3 Supersport 300, and that's coming right up. Hello again as we return to the Cookstown 100 in Northern Ireland. Next, it's the Moto3 Supersport 300 race. Conditions still sketchy here at Cookstown. You can see from the pictures provided, McGee on the front row alongside him, Nigel Moore and Chris Meyer. It is McGee just on the KTM. Everybody else are on Hondas. It's 250s really at the front, and then the 125s as you'd expect further back. There is also as well the Supersport 300 bikes to figure into this one. So 2 classes for the price of 1 here at Cookstown. The Moto3 Supersport 300 about to get underway. So watch the lights are about to get underway. Alongside me is someone who knows all about 125s and 250s as they make their way down towards Gorton the first time. Derek McGee getting a drop. And that person I was talking about is Chris Palmer. Chris, great to see the 125s and 250s still going.
Yeah, it's good for me to see this, to be honest. It's the 4 strokes obviously came along. 254 stroke singles came along after the 125 2 strokes. And basically took over from them in the World Championships and all everywhere else in the world. But Yeah, it's still the same chassis, 125 chassis basically. But yeah, it's good to see them still out there.
Yeah, certainly Northern Ireland still a bastion of two-stroke racing. As someone tries to make a move through out of McAdoo. We're on board though with Derek McGee, who's pulling away on this 250, the Feraldo Racing KTM.
Yeah, fantastic machine, ex-Grand Prix machine, prepared beyond belief. It's a beautiful machine, and yeah, it's a credit to them really.
Yeah, so it's looking. Oh, down he goes, a little low side.
Darren Duncan there lost the back end coming out of there. Can't quite see what tyres he's got on. He's probably got wets on in these conditions. Yeah, he has, yeah.
But even so, it shows there's no guarantee that you're going to stay upright.
Absolutely, it shows how greasy it is, and it's off camber there over the centre of the road as well. So
I think we're going to get it is a red flag. We're going to have a rerun. I have to say, Chris, it's going to take some beating. The track is a little bit better now, but it's still sketchy.
It is, yeah. It's not the kind of conditions that you'd like to be riding in. You wouldn't volunteer for it, to be fair.
But again, Derek McGee carrying on where he left off in the first run, leading down into Gorton. Chris Meyer on 122, the German rider, leading the little gaggle of Hondas around Gorton. Dan Sale is in there as well. Nigel Moore, the evergreen Nigel Moore. So we're on board with Dan Sale, just tucked in behind Chris Meyer.
They're a little bit closer to him this time, aren't they? They're just pushing on a little bit. Now it's drying up slightly.
But again, we saw the full wets before, even didn't save Darren Duncan. Tyre choice is going to be interesting, considering there's still a lot of damp patches.
It is, yeah, but I would think most people have probably stuck with the wets, to be honest, because the bikes aren't very heavy and they don't really destroy tyres the way the bigger bikes do.
And it's not the greatest of race distances either. It's not as if they're doing 30, 40 miles.
No,
so.
It just gives you more confidence. You know that you're going to have grip, in all conditions, really.
So again, McGee pulling away, but look at this battle in second place further back between, it looks like Sale, Meyer and Moore.
Yeah. That sounds so good, that little bike.
So here comes Derek McGee.
Looks relaxed, doesn't he? Doesn't look like he's pushing on too hard.
Well, and it's as if he's never been away, Chris, because he's not raced since 2019.
That's the biggest difference between the four-stroke and the two-stroke 125s. There, you heard him slipping the clutch coming out of the corner, and that's what makes that can be quite dodgy in these conditions. So if the clutch just bites and spits you off,
So it's Dan Sale from Chris Meyer, and Nigel Moore is in fourth place.
Yeah, Dan's come through past them, hasn't he? Somebody coming past him on the brakes there.
Meyer.
Yeah.
No, not quite close enough.
Gone for the inside. It makes it a tight corner, that does.
It is the classic overtaking place, Gorton at the Cookstown 100 on the brakes. A couple of different lines going in. But then you come, really the circuit tightens up around here. McAdoo down to Mackney, then on the way to Blacks. Unfair advantage, McGee, on that Feraldo bike.
Yeah, no, he's a great bike, we know that, and he's a great rider around there, we know that, and it's his comeback ride, this isn't like he's, it's not like he was racing last year or the year before, he's doing really well.
Yeah, great to see Derek McGee, such a talent. He was showing so much promise, and he was racking up the race wins. We're on board with Gary Jordan. Jordan is in 7th place in the Moto3 class. Last lap then for Derek McGee. Still wait for Dan Sale to cross the line, but I would imagine the lead, even though Derek has had to make his way through slower traffic that Dan has yet to come across. That advantage will still be potentially extending. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, McGee is on his way now out of Gorton, making his way to McAdoo. And it is 17 seconds. Here is Dan Sale into Gorton. So it looks like a solid second place for Dan Sale. But he will be happy. Okay, be happy with second, but he'll go, hey, on the first Honda home, if he
Well,
does make it to the flag.
yeah, it's interesting he's got a dark visor on there. That wouldn't be my choice in these conditions. I'd prefer a clear visor so I could see all the damp patches and stuff. But it's funny how he's got like a tint or a clear, hasn't he, McGee?
Yeah, McGee, yeah.
But it's interesting that some riders do choose the dark visor in those conditions.
The nice thing is, maybe the track does look, even over this race distance, looks to have improved even while this race has gone on. But we'll see.
It definitely looks like it's drying out there, doesn't it?
Definitely.
And they're definitely pushing harder now than they were earlier.
We just saw those damp
Under the
patches under
tree
that tree there over the rise.
Yeah.
Not long to go then for Derek McGee. It's going to be a winning return to road racing for the man from Mullingar. It's as if he hasn't been away, and I don't know how many times I'll end up saying that today, but here he comes then. Derek McGee wins the Moto3 125cc GP race. Wonderful performance, faultless from the word go.
He made it look easy, didn't he?
He did make it look easy. And Dan Sales crossing the line in second position, with Nigel Moore second for third. Chris Meyer not quite able to stay with him. He settles for fourth place. And in terms of the Supersport 300 class, it's victory for Lee Osprey.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's been easy even today. I'm still getting used to it. I haven't done much riding in the last couple of years. The last 4 years I've done 3 races, so not much, but we're getting there. We're getting back to where we were.
Don't go too far, there's more motorcycle racing from Cookstown still to come.
This is how they'll start. Rolly, Doy, Annie, Ara, Osprey, Hogan, Trainer and Jordan. So we have a real mixed bag of bikes in this one. Suzuki, Ducati, Yamaha, Honda, Kawasaki. Alongside me is former British 125 champion Chris Palmer.
They've got wet tyres on, looking at the grade, and it's nice to see the next generation bikes out there, the Ducati 955, Suzuki 750s and stuff like that, that's the way the class is going.
And again, despite the damp conditions, plenty of support on the banks and hedges at Cookstown as we're about to go racing here. And away they go, Brolly on 99, 32 is Canny. The pair of them getting away, we're on board with Gary Jordan further back, but it looks like it will be Brolly into Gorton for the very first time. Here they are making their way around.
Ducati got a good drive off the line there.
Yeah, in far from perfect conditions, it has to be said. Let's just hope it stays dry as well, that the rain stays away, and we can get full race distance in. You can see there are some dry patches, but there are still plenty of wet patches, and so as you mentioned, Chris, it's a little skip as he came out, got on the power out of McAdoo. I think that was Canny. It was Canny.
You can just see the road drop away, can't you, over the crest of the road. It just catches them out slightly as they tap the power on there.
Yeah, you can see these tighter parts of the circuit. It's still quite wet. So yeah, full wets. So there is the odd on the exposed parts. Oh, wow, that's a great move. What a move. Yeah. It's rare that you see something like that. Sorry, Chris, I think Ken a little wheel as he goes over the rise, but what a move that was by Canny on Brolly, and I don't think Brolly would have been expecting that there either.
Probably not knowing. He's obviously realised that, and
Yeah, you can get comfortable on there, tend not to see. It is a good approach. There's a bit of road, bit of straight road to get some speed, some speed momentum coming up to it, but what a move that was.
Yeah. And his body language, he's really meaning this, isn't he, now? You can see that he's pushing on and trying to break him, to be fair.
So the gap, it was 5 seconds at the end of that lap. Again, big dry patches though appearing now. Yeah. We've got a couple of laps to go, Chris.
Yeah, it's definitely coming together now, isn't it? I was just going to say that Suzuki sounds so nice out in the front. It's really crisp.
But at this point now, if they're on wet tyres, would they be looking for wet patches, or is it too late in the day, really? It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, not really. I mean, you could look for a damp patch or whatever, but to be honest, when it's a little bit greasy and slippy, you're better off just backing off your lap times a little bit and just riding round accordingly, to be fair.
Michael Hoey and Ashley Robson are going to be ridden round by our race leader. Brolly should be getting onto them as well soon.
Oh, nice jump there.
It was. So yeah, he has made it through. As Canny on the Hoey and Robson, the two riders who are down just inside the top 20 at the moment. Again, just see a little.
Oh,
the pavement.
Yeah, wow.
I think that was Hoey. If it wasn't Hoey, then it was Robson, but certainly it was one of the two. So he's crossed the line, Canny, and that gap is 6.5 seconds now over Brolly. You have to wait for Lavery to come through to see where he is, but it is some distance between those two. And also, Lavery's got around 10 seconds on Hara, who's in the first wave. So Lavery in a comfortable third place in the second wave as they begin this last lap. It's another slower rider for Brolly to negotiate. Going out of McAdoo, the run down to Macney. Again, it's tight, isn't it? And, you know, to make and pick them off at the right place. That was Jason Whelan, who will now follow Brolly around to the checkered flag. But here is the man who's going to win the first road race of the Irish season here at Cookstown. Waiting for him to come into view. Brolly in second place, and we're expecting Lavery to be third, but a great start for this young man. So here he comes, Canny, to take the win. I don't think he'll be pulling any celebratory wheelies, or will he? Has a look around, but yeah, there we go, just punching the air.
Yeah, over the moon,
light, yeah, and brilliant. First race of the season, 9 laps, and look how thrilled he is. That's what it means, folks, to win an Irish road race. Absolutely delighted. He took the gamble with that move, and it paid off. So, confirmation of the results. It is Canny in first place, Brolly is second, Lavery from the second wave in third, Hara, Osprey, Dory, and then it's Walsh in seventh.
Conditions were tough at the start, so we started pretty steady to see where we could see where the grip was, where the grip wasn't. We had a moment coming out of McAdoo's, but once we got the grip with how it was, we could thankfully get the hammer down. It was good enough, and then Sean's a great rider, like fantastic rider, and I knew he was going to be hard to beat today. So look, it's my first senior sport one, and I've wanted it for a while now, so I'm just glad I took it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Coming right up, it's time for the big bikes to go racing at Cookstown. Hello once more from Northern Ireland and the Cookstown 100, and it's time for the Open A race.
Michael Sweeney making his way to the front row. It is Michael Dunlop, here he is, on bike 6. You can see by the lack of sponsors on the fairing.
I was going to say, not even painted, it's just, you know, more or less out the showroom. You know, it's, yeah. And again, he's switched, hasn't he, from Honda to BMW, so, you know, we've seen the BMWs go really well last year.
Yeah, he's got Sweeney alongside him, and Derek McGee, a formidable front row, Neil Kernahan and McCormack on row 2. The end of the first wave, Whitehall, Tweed and James Chalk. On to the second wave, Paul Williams, Kevin Keys and Barry Ferber, Joe Yearsley and Julian Trummer making his Cookstown 100 debut, the Austrian rider, Andy Farrell, Liam Chalk and Martin Morris. Philip Cleary, Paul Cranston, Darrell Anderson, Dennis Booth and Damien Horan. And bringing up the rear, Michael Garn and Graham McAleese. So we're about to go Superbike racing at Cookstown. 7 laps the race distance, the sun continuing to shine here. Unfortunately, McGee is not there, so no Derek McGee and no Whitehall either. But it is a cracking start by Sweeney. Sweeney blasting away, so too McCormack from the second row. Dunlop with a foot out. But Dunlop into second position as they go into Gorton. Cracking start by Michael Sweeney. Dunlop second and McCormack into third, Chris.
Yeah, good start from him for sure. He'll be pleased with that.
Keys number 5 getting away, no 38. We're on board with Julian Trummer. So the Austrian into Gorton on the superbike. Oh!
Wow.
Wow, well, welcome to Cookstown, Julian Trummer.
That was tight.
That was very tight, a little nudge as well. Meanwhile, out in front, out at Mackney, it's still Sweeney from Dunlop. McCormack in third. Kernahan in fourth place on bike 109. We're looking back from the race leader.
Dunlop with the watching eye there. It's obviously a lot closer than it looks on the camera there, but he's just keeping an eye on the job, isn't he? Just settling in nicely.
Into Craig Mount. Sweeney from Dunlop. And maybe for Dunlop, not so much about winning, but what the bike's doing, perhaps.
Yeah, he'll be assessing the situation. He'll be analysing everything that's going on. Obviously, he's up against another BMW there, so he'll be all the time learning, all the time assessing the situation. Actually, he was getting sort of left down the straight there slightly, but he's on a stock bike. I don't know what spec Sweeney's BMW actually is.
So here they come out of the Orator Crossroads down Braeside, down this long straight. We're back with Julian Trummer again. This time looks like he's got a little bit of road to himself as he comes to Gorton.
Obviously some 600s are mixed up in all this as well.
Yeah, well, it's the open race, yeah, superbike, super sport machinery. Again, you could argue that it's not really a superbike track, is it? You know, apart from the run down to Gorton.
Yeah, it's a real tight. It's tight round the back, isn't it?
And here we are, round the back. Let's listen to those beamers. We're back on board with number 5, Kevin Keys, just coming in to Mackney. Keys just looking to see. In fact, that is Whitehall. I thought Whitehall was a non-starter, but obviously I was wrong, so my apologies for that. Meanwhile, Dunlop making no apologies for sticking behind Sweeney and Craig Mount.
Just having a good look at him here, isn't he? He doesn't look like he's under any pressure. He looks really relaxed on the bike.
And again, just letting Sweeney do the hard work, so to speak. Letting Sweeney do all the sweating. Sweeney will be aware that Dunlop's behind him. And sometimes that can be a big pressure drop. In fact, here goes. No, not close enough. Or is he?
I think he is.
He's going for it. Mike Dunlop is going for it as Sweeney tucks in. I didn't think he'd be close enough.
Right
but
across his nose
I
there.
didn't expect it to be that close. And
red flag.
A red flag. So, it is a red flag. The race has been stopped. And the news is Damien Horan was the rider who crashed.
Unfortunately, the red flag meant that the Open A would not be restarted, but it is good news that the rider involved is receiving treatment and he should be making a speedy recovery.
Now we turn our attention to the junior support race. A mixture of Aprilia, Kawasaki's, Suzuki's. There's even the Honda V4 in there as well. Sean Brolly and Lee Osprey on the front row, the first 2 riders. Oh, so a real mixed bag this one, Chris Palmer.
Yes, it is. 6 Aprilias. The Aprilias are getting more and more popular, race ready, so everybody's jumping on them, it looks like.
Yes, we've seen that in the Super Twins, of course. We've got 4 or 5 Kawasaki. In fact, I think we have 6 as well, Kawasaki 650s in this one. And that Honda 400 I mentioned.
And there's a Yamaha 400 as well.
So we are ready to go racing. Sean Brolly in pole position. The Osprey alongside him. Canny will look to be Canny off the line. He's going to be in the second place by the looks of things. Is it going to be Canny who's going to lead them? It's not. It is going to be Brolly from Canny into turn number 1.
Big scrap into the first corner there.
It is, but Meyer on the 250. Losing a little bit of ground. A bit gingerly, a bit tentative around there as the second wave gets underway. Number 36, Kevin Lavery.
The 250s really lose out against the twins on drive out the corners and off the start line, to be fair. They've got to slip the clutch like mad to get off the line, and they really, really lose out there.
So Brolly looks to be the early leader from Canny. We've got keep an eye on the likes of Lavery and Birchall as well in the second wave. Here they come into Macney. It's Brolly from Canny. Here is Meyer. You say on that 250.
Might hear him slip the clutch. No, he isn't there.
So these twins pulling away.
Big wheelies over the hump there.
And again, the roar from these Aprilias and Kawasaki's especially. Oh, it's tight to Craig Brown, my goodness, but everyone managing to stay upright. Certainly Brolly is going to cross the line in first place at the end of lap 1. Reduced race distance, of course. We're trying to get as many races in before the end of the day, following the red flags we had earlier on. So it is Brolly from Canny. The gap between them is around a couple of seconds. And it's more a battle of second place than first. And that is Walsh trying to gain some ground on Robson. But we've got to wait for Lavery and Birchall to cross the line as well. They won't be too far away. Their times are coming up now. Lavery goes into third place. And of course, as I mentioned, it's a race and a time trial, of course. So the guys in the second wave, Lavery and Birchall, not off screens, it's up onto the pegs. Goes Canny. So we have to slot those times in as well, and it is still Lavery and Birchall.
Starting to spread out a little bit, those four, aren't they?
So Lee Hara on bike 97.
Tight now.
It
Looks
is.
like he could be on the brakes into the tight right-hander.
Yeah, into Gordon. So Lee Osprey just tucked in behind Lee Hara. It's the battle of the Lees. At the end of lap 3, Brolly from Canny. And Lavery with Hara now fourth. We've lost Birchall. We have lost William Birchall, who was on the Suzuki in the second wave. Oh. So that, I think, is that Kevin Lavery? That looked like Lavery. So, last lap then. Brolly from Canny.
Osprey there's trying so hard. I think he's got round the outside of him there.
So, Lavery, of course, was in third place, and that little mistake has cost him at Dorton early on the previous lap, so it's dropped him down out of the order. So it is just really the first wave of riders that are battling for positions. However, Sean Brolly continues to pull further and further away from Canny. And here he comes then to take the checkered flag. Winner of the junior support race. Congratulations, Sean Brolly. What a result. We'll get confirmations of the results in the moment, but Brolly confirmed as race winner. Here comes Osprey for what should be third place. Canny's already gone through. A confirmation of that with Brolly from Canny, Osprey, Hara, Robson, Walsh, Lavery, Meyer, Whelan and Healy.
That's it for now from Cookstown. Join us again next time for more racing from the Orator Circuit. Until then, it's goodbye for now.